Hi everyone, Chris here. I just want to make a follow-up video to the video I posted on Monday. For those of you who don't know, I posted a ranked video which had an argument in it about dropshotting.
I was just in terrorist and you warm up in terrorist and
terrorists.
you warm up in terrorist and you do what you used to, right? I'm running around dropshotting terrorists and Henry's judging me.
To summarize it so you don't have to watch it, basically I was on the side saying that if you have to rely on dropshotting to get kills, you lack the skill to otherwise normally get kills. And one of my friends, Parker, was on the side saying that dropshotting is a way to get a win, and that any way to get a win counts. So he was arguing that dropshotting is a valid tactic because it gets you a win. Now I didn't expect it to blow up so much because there was a lot of comments talking about whether dropshotting was good or bad, and also a lot of hate in there because people were very passionate about the subject. So basically I want to make a follow-up video talking about my thoughts on it and answering some of the comments that people left. Before we get into the comments, I do want to quickly give a short summary of what dropshotting is, just for those of you who don't know. And to do so, I'm going to give an example. In this example, it's going to be one defender, one attacker, and the defender is going to be the one dropshotting. So in this example, say the attacker is pushing in, and then they encounter the defender, and it's a 1v1 fight. As the attacker aims to shoot at the defender goes from a standing to a prone position while aiming down sight and shooting. While doing so, the defender lands every single shot on the attacker, but the attacker misses some of his shots because he's not able to keep up with the defender dropping down. This is a huge benefit to the defender because they're able to shoot with complete 100% accuracy and no hindrance while the attacker struggles. So in a nutshell, that is what dropshotting is. It is the act of aiming down sight and then dropping to prone while shooting. And since it makes the player hard to hit, it has become very popular among ranked players. And that's the explanation of it. Now I'm going to give a few pieces of information before we get into the comments so people know what I'm talking about. Number 1, Ubisoft has addressed the fact that dropshotting is broken. They've made comments on Reddit saying that they are looking to fix it, however it is not a high priority issue. So what that means is that 1, they are unhappy with it, 2, it'll change eventually, and 3, people can no longer use the excuse that Ubisoft intended for dropshotting to be this powerful. And the second point is that dropshotting is not an exploit. Keep that in mind. It does not go against Ubisoft's player conduct code, and it has not been listed as an exploit. It is a part of the game, but it is something that Ubisoft does not want to be there anymore. So yes, I understand it is part of the game, however it is not something that I agree with. And lastly, before we get into comments, please do not consider this a way to make a witch hunt. I don't want people going at each other's throats just because of differing opinions. There was way too much of that in the last video, and I don't want it to happen in this video's comment section as well. I know people will be very passionate about this because, as you can see in some of the comments, people are very much like, if you're on one side, we love you. If you're on the other side, we absolutely hate you and want you to die. So please do not do that and try to keep it civil. I know some people on the internet can troll and be very hard to deal with. Either just ignore them and move on, or try to rationally explain to them. Alright, now let's move on to the comments. The first comment comes from a user named HNims. To summarize their comment, they basically say that dropshotting is situational and that it is not a no-skill tactic. To counter this, I would first like to say that first off, dropshotting is not at all situational. It's not something you can only do when you have full health. It's also not something you can only do when you have little health. It's just something that a lot of people do for absolutely no reason other than to get a kill. And to the second point, saying that dropshotting isn't a no-skill tactic. It is literally the definition of a no-skill tactic. All the player has to do is push a button while shooting. There's absolutely no downsides to this, and all they have to do is just keep shooting and keeping their aim centered. And if dropshotting wasn't a no-skill tactic, it would at least have some downsides to it. However, it doesn't. There's absolutely no downsides to dropshotting. You can dropshot anytime you want, and it'll always have benefits. And the next comment comes from someone called Straight Up Steam, where they say, can't beat 'em, join 'em, or cry about it on YouTube. So besides the obvious jab at me, I just want to highlight the point of saying can't beat 'em, join 'em. So I'm not too sure how many of you were around for this, but quite a long time ago, there was something called the white van glitch, where essentially all those white vans that you see across all the maps, people could get inside of them. All you had to do was put a deployable shield next to it and you could vault inside the van. The reason why this was such a huge issue is because a person inside the van could see out through it and shoot anyone without being able to get shot at. Now granted, this was a huge exploit, which, like I said, dropshotting is not an exploit. So there is a difference there. However, the big argument at the time was, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Basically telling all people who were complaining about the white van glitch to just start doing it back to them. And while I guess this is a good way to stick it to the people who do it, it's not the right move. Stooping down to their level is not going to get rid of the problem. Instead, if more people complain and actually worry about the issue, then Ubisoft is more likely to make a change. Could you imagine if everyone started doing the white van glitch and it eventually became the point of saying, oh, it's just part of the game because everyone does it? Joining them helps no one except for yourself. In order to get rid of the issue, we actually have to complain about it and make it visible. Otherwise, it gets swept under the rug because then users are happy. So don't join them, actually complain about it. And comment number 3 comes from a user named Your Average Asian Gamer. Their comment is, Dropshot, whatever it takes to win, I guess. I have no problem with someone trying to win. And right below that is a reply from someone called a lethal trash can saying, but such an argument could also be used for players hacking to win games. Now this is something I want to talk about because a lot of people draw the comparison, and even I draw the comparison. When people use the argument saying, whatever it takes to win, you can immediately associate that with hacking. Although hacking is much, much worse than dropshotting ever will be, it is still a somewhat fair comparison. Saying whatever it takes to win is fair is not a good idea. And like in the last comment that I mentioned, the white van glitch. Someone could easily say, hey, whatever it takes to win, and you can't really argue against that if you heavily believe that, obviously. Now, I have absolutely no issue with people obviously trying to win. I try to win all the time. However, using this as just a blanket argument to protect dropshotting is, in my opinion, fairly stupid. Next comment comes from a user named A1Max saying that dropshotting is a very efficient method of dodging bullets, just as peeking is. So a lot of people have gotten into the habit of when they're peeking, they just spam Q and E, which for console players who don't know, those are the peeking buttons to peek left and right, and you just quick peek over and over again. And as you're peeking, you shoot to kill the person, and then they can't hit you as much because you're just peeking back and forth. First off, with quick peeking, I think it takes a lot more skill to actually pull this off. You can't just full auto fire like when you're dropshotting and just get the kill easily. When you're quick peeking, you have to take 1 or 2 shots at a time and then hope to kill the person with a headshot or to wear them down as they're pushing. And on top of that, it's actually a lot harder to actually land your shots because each time you peek, you have to line up the shot again. Obviously, this is a little different if you're just peeking a doorway and keeping your aim straight, but for the most part, if someone's pushing you and you're quick peeking, you're going to have to adjust your aim every time. And the big downside is that you're a much easier target to hit than when you're dropshotting. Dropshotting usually circles around running around the map as a 3-speed operator really quickly and then dropshotting at the last second. Meanwhile, when you're peeking, you're holding one angle and peeking over and over again. So in doing so, you're making yourself an easier target because you're not moving. You're in the same spot every time. So the opponent will have a lot easier of a time picking you off as they know exactly where you're going to peek from. All they have to do is actually land the shot. Meanwhile, if you're running around and dropshotting, it'll be a lot harder for them to hit you because you'll be moving a lot. And with how broken hitboxes are in this game, it's a lot harder to hit a fast, moving target than it is to hit a stationary one that's peeking every now and then. And the next comment comes from a user called King Roble, saying, it's not hard to kill dropshotters. I usually aim upper chest level with a high fire rate gun, and they always drop their head into a headshot. Now, while this is the most popular method for countering dropshotters, the big issue remains that Siege has some of the shittiest hit registration out of any FPS out there. I'm sure hundreds of you have had the issue where when you're shooting at someone you see blood flying everywhere, and the kill cam it says they still have 99% of their health. This is one of the major issues when trying to counter dropshotting, is that hit registration is an absolute joke. So while they're dropping, they're fucking up their hitbox a lot, and it makes it a lot harder for you to actually land a shot that will be registered on the server side. So if you're lucky, yes, this will work. The servers will be on your side and you'll get a headshot. However, in my personal experience, I feel like more than 50% of the time, the hit registration just fucks up and the person manages to survive anyways. Meanwhile, the dropshotter has a huge advantage because if you're not dropshotting, then your hitbox stays the same so they can land a lot more shots. For them, there will be very little issues on the server in terms of hit registration because you're not moving and your hitbox doesn't change. Meanwhile, for them, it's constantly changing, so they have a huge advantage yet again. Now, this next comment literally adds nothing to the argument. I only added it just because the name made me laugh, and also it is the epitome of how bad arguments can be online. But basically, the comment's from Timothy saying, if you hate dropshotting, you're bad and should just get good, kid. Now, shockingly, this is probably one of the top 5 arguments I've ever heard from people who dropshot, and I really don't have anything to counter it besides this is not how you argue a point, but whatever, it was just a funny comment, made me laugh. Now back to the serious comments, we're moving on to one from Mr. Airsoft Champ. The important parts of the comment that I just want to highlight saying a badly timed drop shot will get you killed, and that some people understand how to do it and others don't. To knock people that spend time working hard and developing the skill is kind of lame in my opinion. So the reason why I chose this comment is because of him saying that some people have to develop the skill to drop shot. Now my counter argument to this is that drop shotting takes very little skill to master. The only time that a drop shot will be horrible is if the person has absolutely atrocious aim and cannot control it. Because all you have to do when you drop shot is just aim towards the person, and the recoil won't really matter because it's just going to go all over them as you're dropping. Now, I'm not going to pretend like there are people out there who are really bad at drop shotting. There 100% are. I've seen them myself. However, those are normally people that without drop shotting are also horrible at the game. And one question I like to ask this person, but obviously they probably won't be able to respond to me, is that what is exactly the skill that you're developing when you're learning how to drop shot? What part of aim down sight and prone really takes mastering? As long as you can keep the aim in their general direction while you're dropping, you'll get the kill. So I'm kind of lost on exactly what you're trying to quote-unquote master here and working to improve. And this next comment from a text message is saying that drop shotting is part of the game and there's nothing wrong with abusing it to get kills. Utilizing it makes you a better player. Anyone who doesn't do something because it's overpowered is a scrub. Same thing with spawn peaks. Now, unfortunately, I don't really have a counter argument to this because he's not necessarily wrong. Most higher level players know when something's overpowered and use it until the company decides to nerf it. If you look at any MOBA out there, any new champion slash hero, whatever you want to call them, that gets released is almost always overpowered. Same goes with Siege and every new operator. The reason why they're overpowered is because it's much easier to nerf a character than it is to buff them. It's easier to see where they're overpowered as opposed to where they're underpowered. So realistically, he's right. If something's overpowered, you might as well use it. However, I guess the only counter argument to this is that if you're one of those people who relies on always using overpowered stuff in order to win, then once that thing that was once overpowered gets nerfed, you're pretty much useless. These are what we call one tricks. They're people who only know how to do one thing, and then once that gets changed, they're fucked. So personally, I find that the better players are those who don't use it because they recognize how overpowered it is, and they work to improve themselves in other aspects instead of using stuff that's overpowered and that will change. Those are the people who are actually better at the game because they'll be able to adapt and counter these overpowered abilities. Meanwhile, people who rely on this will find that they'll be very useless once they get nerfed or changed. And the second last comment I'm going to highlight is from a user named Nubsu. They're saying dropshotting isn't bad. If you need to get it to get a kill, however, then it's being abused. People who complain about being dropshotted should 1. Either get good, or 2. Try it yourself. The main reason I highlighted this is because it's a very illogical argument. He is arguing that dropshotting isn't bad, it's only bad if you need it to get a kill. However, I'd say 99% of the time when people dropshot, they do it because they need it to get the kill. There is that very small 1% that does it accidentally or does it just by coincidence, but for the most part, if people are dropshotting, they're doing it to get the kill. So therefore, almost every single case of dropshotting is being abused then by this person's logic. And they mention at the end of their comments saying, if it's so overpowered, why not do it yourself? To draw a comparison, I would like to talk about the shield glitching in this game. For those of you who don't know, you can shield glitch a window where you put a deployable shield next to it as a defender, and it prevents attackers from being able to vault in through it. The only way to then get in through the window is to either destroy the deployable shield, or to rappel up and then jump in. However, it completely prevents people from jumping in on windows where you can't rappel up, and if the shield can't be destroyed. Now I will just like to clarify this is 100% exploit, it is not just an overpowered tactic. However, it's something that Ubisoft has tried to fix in the past and has failed to do so. So people still do it, and Ubisoft hasn't had any representation of it getting fixed soon. So for the time being, since they're not going to fix it, it is pretty much just an overpowered tactic at this point. However, I'm still not going to stoop down to that level and do it because even though the shield is working exactly as Ubisoft made it to work, it is still a huge cheap tactic. I don't need to rely on something like shield glitching in order to win. Even though yes, it does work, I'm not going to stoop down to that level. Just like with dropshotting, yes, I know it works, and yes, I know it could probably get me a lot more kills. However, I'm not going to stoop down to that level because I want it to be a fair fight. I don't want to give myself a huge advantage just because Ubisoft fucks something up on their end. I want to play the game as fairly as possible and give everyone an equal chance. While it does suck that others will take advantage of it and use it to win against me, I'm not going to let that affect my stance. So even if someone starts shield glitching every single round and preventing me from jumping in windows, I'm not going to stoop down to their level and do it as well. And now this is the last comment that I'm going to showcase. I like this comment because it is both a mix between a really good example of what a comment should be and also really, really bad example of how to argue your point. The comment starts off great with actually calling me out on something I said a long time ago, although it is kind of a moot point. But basically this comment is saying that a long time ago they asked me on stream why I play with points, and I said why would I take something off that gives me an advantage. And now they're arguing that that is the exact same thing as dropshotting. However, I'd like to argue that it is absolutely different. It's not like Ubisoft added the point system and then intended for it to be removed. They put in the point system because that's what they wanted the game to be like, and they left it in because they like it that way. However, dropshotting was a byproduct of adding a prone system into the game, and they themselves have said they don't like the way it is. If the developers had come out and say, we don't like the way the point system works and we want to remove it but we're not sure how, then I would probably play without points just to make it fair. And I'd also like to argue that having points on does not give me at all an unfair advantage in a fight. All it does is let me know what happens. And in most cases, it doesn't really give you any information that you can't see or hear. I'd say the only case where a point system is actually incredibly beneficial is when you spray through a wall and down someone. Then you get the points to know that you injured someone. Whereas if you don't have any points, you wouldn't know that they actually got injured unless you heard them. So for the most part, this point system is not giving me at all an advantage like dropshotting is giving other players. And I just want to also point out to all of you who want to make comments who are at least constructive or at least try to make an argument, do not end your comment like the way this guy did. If you ever end your comment with just trying to outright insult someone and calling them bad or telling them to stop bitching and moaning, then you've already lost the argument. I actually really like this comment up until the last part because it shows how immature some people can be online. Try to stick to facts and points and don't just stoop down to name calling and being aggressive. That literally destroys your case instead of helping it. So even though arguing online is usually a stupid idea in general, at least try to be a little more mature about it when you do it. And that's going to be it for the video. I mainly just wanted to talk about a few comments that either a lot of people liked or points that were mentioned a lot through various comments. And I know dropshotting can be a very polarizing topic in this community, but I feel like it is a topic that does need to be discussed. Overall, I feel like there is no argument that you can make that does not end with dropshotting being overpowered or unnecessary. However, I am open to other people's opinions. And I know for whatever reason, a lot of people tend to look at me for information, so I figured I'd just talk about this and spread some information about what dropshotting is and why people don't like it. But anyways, that'll be it for the video. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.